welcome to another Facebook Live. I'm Jen Bentley. I'm the dermatologist here at Veterinary Referral Center. And today we're going to be talking about wildfires and keeping your pet safe and some plans for evacuation if you haven't thought about that. I'd like to introduce Denali, who will be feeding us your questions, and also Shelby, who's manning our camera today. Before we kind of go into the discussion, Veterinary Referral Center is trying to help out with relief funds for any pets who are affected by the fires. And you can help too. There's a GoFund page that we've created, and we have a link on our Facebook site that you can click on and donate. We also have a bin outside our hospital, and you can donate things like food and new items, leashes, collars, such like that. You can even drop off also gift cards to online pharmacies or online pet stores so people can get what they need. We also have a list online from the Green Hill Humane Society, that's in Eugene, and they certainly have a large list of items in need. So please look at that list. If you have anything that's new, drop it off under bin out front. We're going to make sure that it gets to where it needs to go. All right, so we are going to be, do we already have a question? All right.
We do. So McKenna would like to know, when is it safe to start going outside for longer periods of time with your dogs?
Yeah, so one thing, that's a really good question. It's the smoke levels here in Bend at least are coming down a bit. It's still not in a healthy range. We're still in unhealthy last time I checked. So right now it's not, just short breaks to go to the bathroom and that's it. But once it starts coming down into that healthy range, it's usually classified as green on that scale, that ACI index. That's the time when you can really start going out walking and even doing a little bit of light exercise too. The purple range I would try to avoid, as much as possible. If you feel like your dog really needs to get out and get for a walk, you can do a short one at that point. But trying to refrain until we get the healthy air quality back, unfortunately. One question I have for all of you guys is, what do you think the species is that is most affected by smoke? Or breed, too. Certain types of breeds of dogs may be more affected. Chime in if you think you know the answer. Don't be shy. It's a discussion here. All right, so birds by far are the most affected by the smoke. So birds actually have what we call counter current exchange, and they can be super efficient oxygenators. So basically when we breathe in, extract the oxygen, then breathe out. With birds, when they breathe in, they extract oxygen, but the way they're set up, when they breathe out, they're actually extracting a directional way of flow. But because of that, they can actually extract toxins a lot faster and better too. And that's why, if you've ever heard the term canary in a coal mine, that's where this kind of comes in. Canaries are super sensitive. They're used in coal mines as sentinel animals. They're going to be basically not doing well and dying when those toxic fumes are released before humans can even sense it. So, so canaries were used for a long time for that purpose. In fact, up until 30 years ago. Another question here?
Yes, McKenna would also like to know, are you seeing the smoke affecting dogs' behaviors?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I actually thought that my animals would be more affected by it. Dogs, they can actually sense, smells 100,000 times to 1,000,000 times better than humans. So I'm affected by it. I thought they would not want to go outside at all. My cat's been itching to go outside and doesn't seem to care, so I'm not really letting my cat outside right now. But they can be affected by smoke, and we're going to dive into those signs. But behavior-wise, I haven't seen much from my animals. I'd actually be curious if you guys have seen much. I know I'm actually feeling a little bit down with all the smoke too, but my animals surprisingly don't seem to notice all that much. So besides birds, some of the other animals that are at risk, we think about our dogs and our brachycephalic breeds. So those are breeds with a smushed face, like pugs and bulldogs. They can't breathe well in general because of their natural conformation. So adding the smoke onto that is not going to be great for them. They're going to be predisposed to having respiratory problems. Older dogs with already underlying respiratory issues or cardiovascular disease are also going to be at risk of being more affected by the smoke too. So signs that you can watch out for at home would include coughing, labored breathing, panting heavily. It's hot out, but excessive panting. Anytime a cat is open mouth breathing, that's not normal. So that would be another big sign. Also nasal discharge and ocular discharge. Now my eyes haven't been feeling exactly right at this point in time, but if they're squinting or excessively discharging on their eyes, yes, it's smoky out, but they may also have an underlying cause that really hasn't popped up yet, and now you add smoke on top of a disease and now they're showing signs. So those are things to watch out for in our pets at home. Birds, like I was saying, they're going to be the ones who are most affected by the smoke. So if you do have a bird inside, move them to a room that doesn't have a lot of windows. Every room's going to have some windows, but if, for example, my kitchen has windows on all sides, that's not a great room to have the birds in right now. Also for our outdoor birds, if you are chicken owners, it's really hard, but we would definitely recommend moving those guys inside, if not to like just a basement. I've actually had some owners move their chickens into a shower. This is a temporary thing, but it would be a good thing for their health. You may even want to plan for next year and having a chicken coop that's actually enclosed with some ventilation and air filtration for those chickens too, so you're prepared for next year. Any questions about smoke and pets? Denali, do we have anything else popping up here?
We do. McKenna was asking about her dog has been panting more even in the car and wondering if that's because of the smoke.
It absolutely could be. It's definitely, it's hot outside, it's difficult to breathe. If you're finding that your animal is presenting other signs like weakness, lack of appetite, fatigue, that's where I would definitely get to a veterinarian. So just a little bit of panting that goes away when you get home into a less smoky environment and it's cooler, and that's okay. But if there's other signs or if that panting is just continuing, that's when I would seek veterinary help. Great question. Anything else, guys, before we start talking about some evacuation plans for pets? I know we don't really want to think about that, but being prepared is important. All right, so one thing I was reading about was that people didn't have a lot of time to evacuate, and they were basically frozen because they didn't have a plan and they really didn't know what to take. And I'm not one of these people that's classified as a prepper by any means, but certainly seeing all these wildfires makes me think, well, it may be good to have some plans for the household, so you do know what to do, and not just from a wildfire, but any event. So we'll get into that. Do we have another question?
We do. We have two more questions. So Taylor is asking if the smoke could cause anxiety in our pets.
That's a really good question. And that's what I actually thought it would cause. I haven't really seen it in my pets, but I definitely think it can. So hopefully that anxiety will go down as the smoke goes down. Anxiety medications, I really wouldn't recommend that at this point unless they're super anxious and can't settle down because of it. Just keep them calm, keep them inside, and try to keep the same routine so that they remain calm and happy and less anxious.
And then the next one is from McKenna, and she's asking if you've seen dog masks online and wondering if those work.
Oh, I have not seen dog masks online. Has anybody seen dog masks online? So, yeah, the masks that we're using, the fabric masks, you really need a tight seal for them to really work in the smoke. It kind of gives us a false sense of certainty, even with ourselves with these masks. Certainly they're going to filter something, but they're not great because they're not sealed. So I would say that, again, the best thing to do is to keep them indoors. I would really also worry about a mask in dogs, because dogs, the way they cool is by panting, and if you're inhibiting that with a mask, then that's going to be more problematic down the line. So again, keeping them indoors, keeping the filtration up with the air is going to be the best policy. I don't think you could do a mask and a cat anyways. All right, so evacuation plans. It's good to have a plan. You don't want to be, looking for your cat carrier and having to dig around enough stuff when you need to get out fast. So first of all, having things in one area, having that dog stuff, cat stuff, all your animal stuff in one area that you can grab. So that's going to include the carriers, the leashes. If your dog is a little bit anxious and a little bit nippy when we're anxious, you may want to put a muzzle in there too. Harnesses, and also don't forget about just putting a toy. It's easy to keep a toy in some of these carriers so that they can feel calm, because they're certainly going to be anxious during a situation like that. I always recommend also to keep some dog food in your evacuation place along with treats. I would think you would be able to get dog food, but especially if your dog isn't on a certain type of food, you're going to want to keep a little bit, at least 7 days worth of that available for you to just grab and eat with. The other thing is, make sure at this point it's a good time to just make sure that your pet IDs are up to date. So those tags are up to date, they have the right phone number, the microchip is up to date, right phone number at house. It's a good time to double check all of that. Just having a plan, designating someone responsible for the animals during this time is super important. So someone can be, getting ready other things for the family, and someone can just be focused on the animals, getting them set, getting them in the car, and getting all their things in the car. If you don't have everything together, you can always create a list. I think that's super helpful to just know and make sure that you have everything you need just from a list that's already pre-made too. So just really easy things that you can do to just be a little bit prepared, and also ease your mind. If something happens, you know exactly what you're going to be doing with your pets. Any questions about that? You guys would also suggest to put in a pet evacuation bag that I have missed from my own list. Any other questions about the smoke or anything? Don't be shy. All right, well, we'll wrap things up. Don't forget, we have that GoFund page that you can donate and help out animals in need. If you have any new items, check out that list online that we have from Greenville Humane Society. See if you have anything available to donate, and just put it outside in the bin in front of our hospital. And hopefully we can all make a difference and try to help out these animals who are going to be in need, unfortunately. I'm Jen Bentley. If you like this topic and you have any other questions, feel free to comment. Hopefully we'll be doing a funner topic in a couple of weeks, and not dealing with the smoke here in Bend, but I wish you guys all stay safe and stay out of the smoke.